Look at this, they actually got rid of this old payphone. This is the Uptown 123 at the Times Square. This was another artless removal where they left these long screws in place. On my way back, maybe I'll see if the rest of the payphones around here at Times Square are gone. There used to be about maybe 9 or 10 of them.
And let the customers off the train first.
Oh, so what is this I see up ahead? I did not see this one coming, I don't think. Unless I just forgot about it. Wow. Fully intact. Yet another pair of candidates for the last payphone of New York.
Oh yeah, I don't have any questions about that.
Here I am again. Every time I come back here, I swear this is going to be the last time, but I just can't get enough self-abuse. The next chapter of these West End Avenue phone booths appears to be that they just pulled the plug altogether on the dial tone. There's nothing there now. And I'm going to do what you're not supposed to do. Nope, nothing doing. These phones are good for nothing now. Except, of course, for being a canvas for my payphone radio card. Let's go. This is 101st Street. And by the way, a lot of this plexiglass is busted out. Like this side remains, but this middle one is gone. Looks like somebody busted it. For the most part, though, they do take pretty good care of this thing. And all the booths on West End. So I had checked the previous one before recording. This time I don't know what to expect. This is 100th Street. Okay, well, we got dial tone at least. So not all is lost. Let's see what happens. I didn't bring my fancy field recorder this time because I wasn't actually expecting to come over here today. She said thank you. Now we'll just listen in for a minute. Okay, it's ringing. That means it's not connecting to my number that I dial, because my number isn't. Yeah, it's.
While your call is transferred to an external operator, where you should be able to complete your call.
And if you want to know what happens next, you can go back to a video I did earlier. I'll put a link to it in the comments of this video. I don't think I'm even going to check the next two, because I want to go out to another destination and see if my instinct is true that there's another forgotten street phone out here. It's a long trip, but I've got plenty of reading material now, so it's all good. But that's only half the survey, but I think it's safe to say that these West End Avenue phones are in the same shape they were the last time I was out here, except one doesn't have dial tone, but the point being they don't work, and they're supposed to. They're supposed to make free calls within the 5 boroughs and coin calls anywhere else in the U.S. But they don't work. Yes, I changed my mind. I'm not going to go out there. Coney Island was the destination. history was written by the loudest, as history seems to be written these days. I just want to know for myself what the truth is.
Next stop, Broadway and West 94th Street.
I don't know what it brings me.
This stop is Broadway and West 94th Street.
This little bit of knowledge, but anyway, going out to Coney Island, it's a Sunday. On a day like this, a beautiful hot day, it's going to be a mob scene out there. And subways can be weird on weekends and blah, blah, blah. I don't really need to know if that one is there, as long as I know that these others are still out here. If these other two disappear, well, whatever. I don't need...
Hello, everyone. Do you want to save money on your local...
I still don't know where the last one is, or which one will be the last one, or if they will ever disappear. And since I'm not going to Coney Island, might as well swing by here again. Oh, that sounds great. It's not a dial tone, it sounds like a European busy signal. See what happens if I try to make a call. Do something crazy. Just a busy signal. A very faint busy signal. And these volume buttons don't do anything anymore. So it's in even worse shape than last week. This was the one that ate my quarter last week. And I'm not gonna lie, that genuinely makes me angry that the city lets some coin-gobbling piece of shit stand out here like this. No apologies. No real apologies, at least. And I dropped another card, but I'll pick that one up. So this is 90th Street. Last time I was here, it connected. First it asked for a quarter, then it connected to some, I forget what happened exactly, but basically some long-winded way of saying you can't make a call from this phone. There was an error or something. So now it's not even asking for a quarter, so that's some minor improvement. Let's see what happens if I put a nickel in now. I think I have a nickel. Might be my last one. I don't want to waste too much money on this experiment. Alright, I'll use a dime, just like the old days. It's probably going to swallow the dime. So anybody unsuspecting enough to approach this phone and think that it's a regular payphone probably isn't going to check for dial tone first. That's how it worked in the old days. That's how you lost coins in the old days, that is. Wow, it gave me the coin back. Well, okay, now I'm going to test it with a quarter, even though that would leave me with just enough to do my last call for the day. Oh, here they are. I'll try this again. Oh, I get it. The one button doesn't even work. Now she's saying, please dial again. Okay. Well, that's some kind of improvement over last time. I don't know how to explain it. But last time it would tell you to deposit a quarter, and then it would tell you your call cannot be connected because of some error. And then it would just swallow your quarter. I don't know if somebody came out here and fixed that, or if it's just another fluke of the way the phone just doesn't work. I don't know. So last time I was here, this one had dial tone, but I think it told me to put in a quarter. And now there's no dial tone. Although the touchtone keys sound, but I don't think that's going to do anything. Right, she just says, please dial again. So now you don't even get a dial tone to play with. Let's see what happens if I put a dime in. Okay, well there's that. That's how this one behaved last time. I put coins in and they spit them right back out. The one on 90th Street did not behave that way last time, but it did this time. I don't know if that's a fluke of the decay of these things or if somebody actually came out here to program it, but it doesn't seem like anybody's been out here taking care of these things. So that's your latest last phone booths of New York, allegedly. That's your latest report on the alleged last phone booths at Payphones of New York City streets. Look at this, there's somebody taking pictures of this phone now. I think she was watching me make my call, or trying to make my call. Gone. I'm willing to bet this is the beginning of them all being gone. When I saw that one gone from the 123 Uptown platform, I said I'd come back later to check on the rest. So fortunately I didn't go out to Coney Island, so I'll have time to do that today. This was the only one that you could get to without having to pay the fare. Of course, a lot of people don't pay the fare anyway, but that's another story. And just to be clear, none of these phones had worked for years. I can't remember the last time they did, although I did. The two that were over by where the musicians play out, those were the last ones that actually functioned. I used those for Payphone radio to the bitter end. Even when one of them had no dial tone, and by all appearances was dead, but I knew better. Even without a dial tone, it still took my coin and still let me make a call. Best kept secret at Times Square for a while, I bet. Now, this is the one I got earlier, but I'm doing it anyway, just to get them all in order. This is the Uptown 123. Look at that, they left the landline just hanging out there. That's the metal tube that protected the landline. And they left these metal screws. This one still had Bell Atlantic branding on it. This one hasn't worked in a very long time. This was one of the ones I used to record the subway musicians that often play over around here. Here again, you see where they just cut the landline. Just cut that sucker off, cut it dry. With this one, it looks, I guess maybe these, I guess those were already there to cover those long metal screws, but still. Pretty blunt removal. Didn't even clean up all the dirt and grime that collected behind the phone. This is one of the few phones around that had a 646 area code printed on it. But I guess somebody in the subway system has decided these things have got to go, because one of them, or two of them, were gone from the 6th Avenue, the Bryant Park station. I thought those were never going to go away. And one of them worked all the way to the bitter end. This one hadn't worked in a long time. Okay, well, it looks like there is a survivor. Not that that means much. I'm not saying that's good, bad, or anything else, but I don't know how many pictures I've taken of all these Times Square and Port Authority phones and all the calls I used to make from them. If it's a good thing, it's because it gives me one last place to stick this. So I might have over-guesstimated earlier when I said there were 9 or 10 spots where these things used to be until recently. So far I've spotted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this spot, there was one phone until about a year ago, but you'd never know it because they replaced it completely with these 3 ads. So this would have been the 6th. Through this passage, there used to be, I think, my last memory of it was that there were 4, and they all disappeared all at once. 2 of them I've looked for in the recent past. I didn't find any solid forensic evidence, if you will. Solid archaeological proof that they had once been there. And there used to be some here, too. And there was a little more evidence of them, but I think they retiled this section of the wall. I have a photo, it's a pretty good photo actually, of the phone that used to be here, and there was a dude like sitting on the floor with his face in his hands. I wonder if I could ever find that picture again. So over here on the Port Authority bus terminal side is this, still holding on, but it's been dead for a couple of years. This was maybe the best situated one for busker calls, or it was one of the best, because they played like right there, and they played like less than 10 feet away. If anything, it was a little too close for comfort because I couldn't use it some days because the performers would put their, their bags and their gear. They'd pile it up right next to this phone, so I couldn't get at it. But it had really good call quality, and it's still here. But when I saw that some of the others at the Times Square side were gone, I figured I'd check the whole compound out. Somebody left their lay. You know what I'll do since I'm out of payphone radio cards? That last one I put on. Where's my last one? I have a better idea. That's beautiful. I'll tell you what, though, you talk about payphones moldering away in plain sight. I'll bet you 10 years from now we're still going to be seeing traces of these things. These hand sanitizer dispensers that this one's already decapitated. I don't know about 10 years, but I'll bet if you come back here in a couple of years, this thing is still going to be here, looking just like this. Same goes for those things on the floors that say keep 6 feet distance or whatever they say. Those things are going to be around for generations. Let's see, how many is this now? Like either still here or with solid archaeological forensic evidence that they were there. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then that last one was 6, so this is 7. The others you just have to take my word for it, because there's really no trace of them. Uncoordinated. See, this is one thing you can do with the old phones you can't do with a cell phone. Hang that fucker up. Damn it, fuck you. You don't want to do that with your $1,500 cell phone. And this one also has this next to it. Downstairs. So that last one was 8. That makes this number 9. said that. I don't know if you could hear me before. I certainly couldn't. And I was the one talking.
I remember those work.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. So this is number 9, and I think there's one left upstairs and outside. Okay, so if this next one is still there, and I'm going to be optimistic that it is, my guesstimate of 9 to 10 instances of either extant phones or spots where they unquestionably used to be, my guesstimate of 9 or 10 will prove to be spot on. This other one, I think I said earlier that there was only one that you didn't have to pay a fare for, but I guess I forgot to include this other one on the Port Authority side. Here's a flower. I'm going to leave this on the next payphone. Beware the thorns. It's about as wide an angle as I'm going to be able to get, just based on the crowd around here behind me. Okay, I got some clearance. This phone was featured in a New York Post article about homelessness. It showed a homeless guy sleeping next to it. And one last look. Why not? Because it's on my way back out. Why let a good lay go to waste, right?